You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Folks, Army General Mark Milley, the nation's top military officer, the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said today that he was wrong to accompany Donald Trump on a walk through Lafayette Square that ended in a photo op at St. John's Church. This is what he said.
I am outraged by the senseless and brutal killing of George Floyd. And we should all be proud that the vast majority of protests have been peaceful. Peaceful protest means that American freedom is working. And I'm also proud of the response of our National Guard forces, who provided excellent support to local law and state enforcement under the control of state governors in more than 30 states across the country. We never introduced federal troops on the streets of America as a result of the combined efforts of the National Guard and law enforcement at quelling the violence and de-escalating very, very tense situations. As many of you saw the result of the photograph of me at Lafayette Square last week, that sparked a national debate about the role of the military in civil society. I should not have been there. My presence in that moment and in that environment created a perception of the military involved in domestic politics. As a commissioned, uniformed officer, it was a mistake that I have learned from, and I sincerely hope we all can learn from it.
Reese, the military demands order. What they cannot handle is when you have folks who are saying, hell no, is an uproar. The only reason he put that video out, because there has been an uproar in the military. They have not gone public with it, but there's been an uproar among a lot of generals saying he dishonored the uniform by accompanying Trump, and to see American citizens hit with tear gas and push out the way they did for a photo op. No, this is cleaned up on aisle 6 by the Joint Chiefs of Staff head.
Absolutely, and it's very necessary cleanup, and I definitely, his apology to me is a little hollow. I don't necessarily buy it, but I do think at a minimum, what I appreciate about it is that whoever out there in Trump world, all these MAGA people who might think that they're going to have some sort of insurrection, some sort of coalition with the military under Trump's watch, think again. I think that this general is showing that, okay, you had your fun, Trump, but you're not going to fool us twice. Fool me once, shame on me, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And so I'm hoping that this is a sign that the generals at the military will take more precautions in how they go along with these stunts that Donald Trump pulls, because we don't want the American citizens to have an erosion of trust with the separation of the different powers. And we certainly do not want a military state. So I think what he did was appropriate. Like I said, am I entirely convinced? No, but it's absolutely necessary.
And of course, Erica, when 43% of the military are people of color, you might want to listen to what they got to say.
Oh, absolutely. And be clear, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is the highest ranking officer in the military. He's also the military advisor to the president and to the SecDef, the Secretary of Defense. And thinking about what he wore, and we've been talking about symbols and imagery, those fatigues. When I was in the military, we called them BDUs, or battle dress uniforms. And you're talking about that alongside a person who considers himself in a battle with people who don't agree with his ideology. And thinking about those 43% of Black and brown people that are serving in uniform, what a slap in the face that was to see him out in some level of violation of the UCMJ. I would believe that's the Uniform Code of Military Justice that says that military folks cannot be in uniform out at a protest. And so I think that it was very necessary for him to make the statement that he made, particularly when we're thinking about the infiltration of white nationalists in not only law enforcement, but in the military as well. For him to, as Reese talked about, his words were a bit hollow, but it was very necessary for him to make that statement, because you have people that serve in the enlisted and in the officer rank that are under his command.
Greg?
Listen, I'm appreciative of Sister Erica walking us through the protocol. Because as you said, when 4 out of every 10 persons serving in the military is non-white, but everybody knows the rules, a lot of our people have been very vocal, I'm sure, as this happened. And it's very important to understand that in a society where the military is perceived as being political, it is the prerequisite for, in some ways, coup d'etats. Mm-hmm. And in this moment, if you don't have the discipline within the military to maintain order, then you're teetering on the brink of having it fracture politically along all lines. Now, what does that mean? We just heard Erica just walked us through it. At the linchpin of military discipline, at least the way I think I understand it, and I'm glad that, Erica again has walked us through that, is morale. And so, Roland, when you had Charles Brown, when you played that Charles Brown piece the other day, man, and this brother's been confirmed as the first black chief of staff for the Air Force. When you played that, man, I had to put down this work I was doing. This man was struggling. Do you understand? He felt the whole weight of a race as he was trying to articulate what he wants to do. And then he said, I'm just one man. But it was a different way he said, I'm just one man, than what Tim Scott said. I'm just one man. No, this brother was like, I'm going to do everything I can. But y'all understand, this military is woven together out of separate strands. And if you're going to keep it together, you better recognize that at any given moment, it could dissolve. And that's why we saw this man come out there today, because I find it, in fact, a little disingenuous to believe that thought you were walking across the street to inspect some troops. But what it may reveal finally is that the fractures within this little band of fascists, this little toady William Barr, this little cretin Stephen Miller, who's going to unleash racial fury in Tulsa through this speech he's writing. And Trump, that's a faction there. But this guy's coming in and he says, I'm Joint Chiefs of Staff. Yeah, I don't like this. We've been having a shouting match about you wanting to send the military everywhere. And now we pushed you back. I'm going to walk across this street. But after as you said, he walked across that street, all them people started screaming in every rank. And guess what? You figured, oh, my God, yeah, I better say something now. This was a huge mistake. That was unprecedented, the speech we saw him give today, at least as far as I know in American history.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, Ceek. Of course, black-owned company. Mary Spiel owns it. They have these wonderful headphones, 360-degree 4D headphones that are fantastic, unbelievable sound. We have a partnership with them, folks, where if you get these headsets, you can actually use your promo code to get a discount. And so what you should do is use RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020 for these particular headphones. They're absolutely fabulous. Sounds great. And again, when you buy these, you are supporting a black-owned company. Go to Ceek.com, CEEK.com. That's CEEK.com. Trust me, you will certainly enjoy what they sound like.